So I'm going to show you how to knit the coin stitch or blister check stitch. And this is the right side of the fabric, and you can see this is the wrong side of the fabric. And this is also really fun. The right side of the fabric, you can see these coin-shaped circles, and this isn't a colourwork stitch, this is actually a striping technique. So you use two colours and stripe them, and then you work this drop stitch technique to create the integrated colour pattern. So you need two colours, so I'm going to use this really cool cotton hemp yarn as my colour A, and then I have this blue cotton, mercerised cotton yarn that I'm going to use as my colour B. So to set up this stitch, all you do is cast on a multiple of 4 stitches plus 1 stitch with colour A. So you can see this is my cast on. I use the cable cast on, so that meant that I started on a right side row, and so I knit 1 row with colour A, and then the pattern starts here. So row 1 of the pattern is purl 1 row with colour A. So I'm going to do that. For row 2, you are going to change to colour B, which is my blue yarn. So I'm just going to start knitting with my blue yarn, and rows 2 to 5 are worked alternating between a knit and purl row. So with my blue yarn, I'm going to knit 1 row, purl 1 row, knit 1 row and purl 1 row. So that's rows 2 to 5. So starting with a knit row, you're working in stocking stitch for 4 rows. For row 6, I'm going to swap back to colour A. So I'm just going to take my colour A yarn and start working the row with it. So colour A, you need to knit the first 2 stitches. So 1, 2. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the next stitch off the needle. So this stitch here, I'm going to drop it until it hits the previous colour A row. So you're going to drop the stitch, pull it on it until you get this stitch here. So now you're going to take your right needle, insert it through this stitch to catch it, but then also insert it under the 4 strands behind. And I'm just going to take my yarn, wrap the yarn around the needle and pull it through the 4 strands, and then slip this over like that. So you essentially knit the stitch with the 4 strands behind it. There are several ways you can do this, and you kind of work this along the row with 4 stitches in between. So now I've done that, I'm going to, 3 stitches in between. So you're going to knit the next 3 stitches. That's 1, 2, 3. And then do the same thing, drop 1, 2, 3. If you find it easier, you can also insert your left needle in and then under the 4 strands and complete the knit stitch like this. That's another way you can do it. And you can see it kind of pinches them, tucks the stitch, and also kind of you lose the blue rows. Instead, you get the kind of pull up of the colour A row, which looks really cool. So again, I'm going to knit 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3. Again, dun dun dun. I just find the right needle a bit more natural for me, and wrapping it and pulling it through it all. But that's up to you how you like to do it. Either way, you need to insert your needle into that stitch and under the 4 strands and complete a knit stitch with it all. It's kind of whatever feels natural. So you just keep going, working 3 stitches in between. 1, 2, 3, and then pull it down. Get the stitch on your needle under the other strands, wrap the yarn through everything, and you can see how it begins to look like this. And one last time for my pattern repeat, 1, 2, 3, and drop. And then knit the last 2 stitches. And that is row 6 worked. For row 7, all you're going to do is turn the work and purl the next row. So just had to sort my yarn out there. Just going to turn and purl the next row. So for row 8, you're going to change back to colour B. So I'm going to bring my blue yarn back in and start knitting with it. So the first row is going to be a knit row, and rows 8 to 11, just like we did before, are going to be knit, purl, knit, purl. So it's stocking stitch for 4 rows, rows 8 to 11. So row 12 is very similar to row 6, but the drop stitches are worked in between the last sets, so it creates this alternate pattern. So you start the row by using your colour A yarn to knit the first 4 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now you're going to drop this next stitch. So I'm going to drop it off the left needle and pull it down 4 rows until you get to the colour A stitch. Insert the needle through the stitch under the 4 strands at the back, wrap the yarn around and pull it through everything like that to create this tuck stitch. And then you're just going to knit 3 stitches and repeat this. So I'll show you again the other way that you can do this, which some people might find much easier. This is just the natural way I find easier. So if you drop it all the way down and then pick it up with your left needle and also go under the 4 strands like that, and then you can insert your right needle through the stitch and the strands and wrap through everything like that, which is a super easy way to do it. I'm not sure why, I just naturally find the other way better. Maybe that makes me a bit of a weird knitter, but they both do the exact same thing, as you can see. So it's just whatever fits naturally to you. I'll show you that way again. So pull the stitch and insert the needle on the left, insert through everything, and then knit everything together like that, and then knit 3, and then I'll just show you one more time my method, which is just by the exact same way with my right needle, inserting and wrapping the yarn and pulling through like that. And then you're just going to knit the last 4 stitches. And that is your very last pattern row. And so all you need to do now is repeat rows 1 to 12 to work in this lovely coin stitch.